Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food.
Well, happy Tuesday to my beautiful coffee beans. Happy St. Patty's Day. It is nice to see you. We do have some scary stuff to discuss this morning. Was there another home invasion? Let's chat.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
we cover the case of Nancy Guthrie, and shockingly enough, hearing a lot of stuff in the ether this morning. I hope everybody is doing well. Good morning, Lisa. It's nice to see you. The first to say good morning to all of us. Let me get my background situated, and I apologize about this. Sometimes this morning was not the best morning for me because I got up fairly late. It's cold. It's cold out here. Is this the one? There we go. I got a couple other thumbnails I was creating this morning. So another home invasion? Potentially, possibly. Something was called in similar to that, and we're all going to get into that in just a few moments. I'm going to say hi to everybody here real quick, get to know one another. Happy St. Patty's Day. We're going to sing happy birthday to the boss bish because it is her birthday here on St. Patty's Day. I was going to wear my St. Patty's Day shirt because somebody said it was St. Patty's Day yesterday, and then when we put the shirt on, we realized we could not see through the shirt because I use a green screen. So I'm not wearing my St. Patty's Day shirt, which is basically a Harley Davidson skull that has a whole bunch of clovers on it. It's kind of cute. It's kind of festive, and it's kind of Harley Davidson-y. So that is mine, but I'm not wearing it today. I decided to go with some long sleeves because it's freezing cold out here in Florida. But if you guys would like to, please hit that thumbs up button. Come back in here. Tell us where you're from, what the temperature is in your area, just so everybody gets an idea, because there's some nasty weather out there. And I'm hearing that some people's lives could be in danger, that there's some tornadoes and really bad weather. Has that settled down? Or are we still in danger? If we are, please put that in the chat so everybody knows. Aletha, it's nice to see you. Blessed, happy Nana. Good morning. Good morning. Our beautiful Sonia up in the chat. Who else do we have? We have Melanie, Alicia. It's nice to see you all. Good morning. Eeyore Blue, Donna, Denise, Rose. It's nice to see you. Don't forget to say hi to everybody in the chat. Da boss saying it's my birthday. Hey! Well, happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to the boss, babe. Happy birthday to you too. Ah! Okay, there we go. And you got a special birthday. You got a special birthday this morning, so it's nice to see you. I am so happy to see you all in the chat this morning. It's for bad news. Something's going on. Who? Raise your hand if you believe. Put some pink hands up in the chat if you believe. Arizona is just, especially this Pima County, man. Those folks are in danger, y'all. They're in danger. What the hell is going on out there in Pima County? That desert law stuff, man. I think it has attracted some really, really unsavory folks. I think people want to be on the big screen or something. People are a little crazy this day and age. I'm just saying. Lisa Ann, it's nice to see you. Texas woman, Great Crime with Grace, me and you. It is nice to see you this morning. Who else do we have up in the chat? We got Linda, good morning, love. Me and you, good morning, love. Low Rider Life. I saw some people. Here we go. Honey Dip, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Chicky, good morning. Amber, it's nice to see you. Good morning, the real me too. I don't know how she's doing it. She has not skipped a beat. The lady had hand surgery. She had hand surgery. We were for certain we were going to be down a mod for, a couple days. It's her right hand. We're not going to take all the, start going down and playing the tape through how difficult life must be without your dominant hand. I think those kinds of things were already talked about the other day. And I just stayed in my lane. I stayed on over here, and I just kept talking about Miss Nancy Guthrie. Miss Nancy Benet Ramsey. It is nice to see you. It is nice to see you. Phil, you're going to get your 5 cards. You know what? I really like those. I want to do these. I'm going to do these. You didn't tell me which ones to give you, so I'm going to go ahead and give you these. Guys, come in, stay in. We're going to be getting back to Miss Nancy. You guys are going to want to hear this. So we're going to give you some 5 cards. These are our first 5 cards for St. Patty's Day. What do we got going on? What do we got going on, Miss Phil? Oh, crap. Maybe we're not going to be able to do... We might not be able to do the cards today. I just realized I have no glasses on my face. Okay. Phil, you got to know I love you. I'm straining the eyes here. At least I don't have the scowl. I noticed that when I don't wear my glasses, I do have, my scowl comes back. My scowl comes back on here. Look at that. Let me blend in my little highlight. There we go. So it doesn't look like I'm dead. Achievement is not about what you've done, but what you've gained from your experience. See, I told you I like these. And then on the back it says, life is not merely to be alive, but to be well. Woo! I love it. I love it. I love it. I want some more of it. Who we got now? Okay, this one says, live today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, just today. Inhabit your moment. Don't rent them out to tomorrow. Ooh, that means don't put off. Go do something fun today. All appears to change when we change. Do good and not care to whom. Do an active random kindness to a random stranger. Active kindness to a random stranger. There we go. The door we open and close each day decide the lives we choose to live. Woo! Always new, always exciting, always full of promise. The mornings of your lives, each a personal daily miracle. Oh, I like that. Ooh. You are the one who can stretch your own horizon. We are each gifted with a unique and important way. It is our privilege and our adventure to discover our own special light. Oh, I love it. I tell you all the time, everybody always has a special gift. Everybody does. Everybody has a special gift. You have a special gift. You may not know it yet. That's why we like to broaden your horizons. Thank you, Miss Phil. We appreciate that. That was very uplifting. And uplifting to everybody that needed to hear it. Everybody that needed to hear it, guys. Thank you so much. If you are just coming in, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Again, we are covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. I see that there's a lot of you guys in the chat right now. I know I haven't said hi. Let me just go up just a little bit at the bottom and go up. So we're not spending too much time, but I'm not missing too many people either. Total, it's nice to see you. That's Total, a vet, bro fan. I don't know. Maybe I got that. I might have that all monkey effed, but I'm sorry. Mammies, it's nice to see you. Rose, I think I said hi to you, but maybe I didn't. Jewel up in the chat, it's nice to see you, Love Bug. Or it's nice to see you, Mouse. Good morning. It's nice to have you, Robin. Who else did I? YouTuber. I don't think I said hi to you. Garnetta. It's nice to see you. Megan Nels. Good morning, love. I hope you are doing well. Pete's up in the chat. Well, howdy, my love. I hope you're doing well. Mike, Kathy, good morning. Corn, it's nice to see you. Kathy, I think I said hi. Denise, I may have said hi to you. Dee, it's nice to see you. Linda, good morning. Hopefully I said hi to everybody. Tigers, it's nice to see you. Claudia, good morning. Good morning. So if I missed you, I do apologize. As you see, we do have a few people in the chat this morning. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hype. If you're on the replay crew and you get the option to hype, you might have to go over one more little page. Hit that hype button. Don't forget to hype Bullhorn Betty. So, as you guys know, a lot of my sources and people that I know came from a lot from Cabby Petito. And the reason why is because we were out there for so many weeks. It was hard not to say good morning to one another. That's how I got to know Mike Ruiz. I call him Ruiz. Everybody calls him Ruiz. I think his name's Mike Ruiz. I may have been saying it wrong for the last 4 years. I'm sorry, Mike. And then Brian Enton and a few other people that we met, like even the Daily Mail photographer and some other people out there. Oh, no problem, hon. Well, you're part of the family. You're part of the fam tam. So happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day today. I really do. And so Mike, I was reading this morning, I was going to have a completely different show. Let me show you what show we were going to have. Let me put it up here. I mean, I did a completely different thumbnail for today's show. Where is it? I can't see worth a crap, so don't mind me. I think it's this one here. This was going to be what we are going to be talking about today. Media's gone, right? And then all of a sudden I'm sitting here reading, and I find out that and I'm like, there's no way. This has got to be old news, right? That's what I'm thinking. Oh my God, this is old news. This is old news. What the hell is going on here? And it's not. It's not old news, folks. It's not. So Mike Ruiz actually was reporting that there was a call into the Pima County Sheriff, or into some type of sheriff in and around that area, for another home invasion. And so it doesn't seem, everybody seems to want to say that this is not connected, that this is, we're not hearing a whole lot about this call out to the home invasion. Oh, thank you to boss. She got happy St. Patty's Day. Well, $5 gets you 5 cards. Let's pull 5 cards out for the birthday girl. We'll give you 6 cards. One for your birthday. I'm such a nice gal and all, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a pinch to grow an inch. Let me get these back in here. Okay. Let's see what we got for you, lady. The birthday girl. Patience is also a form of action. The one thing Bullhorn Betty does not have. Be willing to trust your instincts, especially if you cannot find answers elsewhere, like in the Nancy Guthrie case. Giving never happens by accident. It's always intentional. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Ooh, I like that. If we have never been amazed by the very fact that we exist, we are squandering the greatest fact of all. Oh, I like this. Let me read that again for all of you. If we have never been amazed by the very fact that we exist, we're squandering the greatest fact of all. I love that. It says happiness adds and multiplies as we divide it with each other. Friendship is precious not only in the shade, but in the sunshine of life. If there's something that makes you laugh, then every day is going to be okay. You're here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, and even when I faceplant, you guys are laughing, okay? Sometimes at me. Sometimes I'm laughing at you. As long as we're laughing. Start by starting. Oh, that seems pretty novel, right? Enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize they were big things. Ooh, I like that. My heroes are the ones who survived doing it wrong and who made mistakes but recovered from them. Hopefully, Mr. Sheriff Chris Nanhos can. Cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, live like crazy today. Ooh, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Live crazy like today. All right. Well, happy birthday, love. Happy birthday. Don't say we never gave you nothing. All right, guys, let's move on. So that is correct. We've got some. I need to go get glasses. I can't read crap. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. As you guys can see, I have my glaring issue. We'll try. Let me get to a stopping point where I give you guys a video, and then I'll take a break. Let me get it on the big screen. I can't read. So it says, a Pima County Sheriff's Department spokesperson tells me the department has no information regarding today's report of a possible home invasion. It was broadcasted over the police scanner last night, and whether it's connected to Nancy's case. The codes are different than what our department uses, which leads me to believe this is from another agency. All agencies are still fully functioning departments handling all calls coming in. So that appears to be the response from the spokesperson related to this home invasion code that was broadcasted on the police broadcast. And we have to remember, we learned from Jennifer Coffindaffer that there was this, and we didn't hear it, and we were just learning about it last night, but there was these 2 teenage kids that lived in California, and they were basically being enticed. I don't know what these people had over them, but it sounded like they were being extorted by something for some reason. What could they possibly be extorted over? We don't know. That was never put into the article. But these 2 teenage kids from California were extorted over the Signal app. And they were made to go and home invade somebody in Arizona. Where was it? We just read about it last night or yesterday, and it was Scottsdale, Arizona, I think is the name of it. So was it Scottsdale? Am I right about that? Is there Scottsdale, Arizona? Anyways, I believe it was in Scottsdale, Arizona, but these 2 teenagers decide to go and home invade this family because these 2 anonymous people on Signal that was extorting them told them that they needed to get their key. They had a crypto key worth $66 million. And so now these anonymous people are extorting these teenagers. These teenagers are acting on it. They're driving. They're going over here. They're acting as delivery drivers, and they're tying up the residents in there for this crypto key. Scottsdale, yes, Barbara says. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Betty, 857 Tucson was live on the scene when the call was made to 911 about, breaking in. Wow, very interesting. Well, he came by, he stopped by our show the other day. I don't know him personally. I've seen him out there. I've seen him talking to people. It seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. It seems like he's been doing this and well aware of certain cases that even retired law enforcement wasn't aware of, which is not shocking to me. But good morning, Veronica. I hope you're doing well. A little piece of history. John Dillinger was first arrested in Tucson. Interesting. That is a little piece of history. Thank you for that. Hey, Smiley Stories World. It's nice to see you. So now we have, so it sounds like maybe it wasn't Mike Ruiz that broke this news. It sounds like it was 857 Tucson on his live broadcast that heard the home invasion or the break-in call come in. And since then, this is now, people are not responsive to it. Like even when he reached out to Pima County Sheriff is giving him a statement, Mike Ruiz, a statement as, the codes are different than what our department uses, which leads me to believe it's coming from another agency. But if it's coming from another agency in and around there, wouldn't it be relevant? I mean, we have how often do we have, and this is really just on the heels of Pima County Sheriff saying that nobody's safe there and that this guy could strike again? I mean, that's a little scary to hear that. Hey, Kay in Maine, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Victoria, good morning, love. Crime Time, it's nice to see you. The code was 2711, and it's not common universal used code and likely represents a specific incident, tailored internal code. Thank you for that information. We appreciate that. So what does this mean? Is there truly another home invasion? Are people unsafe? Is people going in there and trying to rob or get some information from rich older people that live alone? It is scary, me and you. This whole story is unnerving. I tell you what, story is so unnerving, and I say this often because this is the first time I've experienced this, and so I'm making mental note of it. But we, by definition, in the true crime genre, there are some guys that are heavily involved in the true crime genre. But in all fairness, there's not as many as you would think. The guys being involved in true crime are very, very low numbers. In reality, theoretically, the people that listen, I mean, not necessarily the content creators, but the people that listen to true crime are typically women and older women, people 55 years and older. And so in this particular case, this is the first time we've had as many guys involved in this case, men that are turning in and tuning into the true crime community because of Miss Nancy Guthrie. I haven't seen, yes, we've seen a lot of content creators, because content creators, they're journalists in their respect. And so we have a lot of journalists, and journalism, I mean, granted, there are a lot more women becoming part of journalism, but journalism used to be a male sport. It's just about everything used to be a male sport. And so we predominantly have a lot of males in journalism as opposed to women. But in the true crime genre, the people that tune in and listen to these types of cases are by far women. And so I'm seeing an uptick in men that are tuning in. And I think it's because this particular case reminds a lot of people of their mom, grandma. And I think it unnerves people because, we don't think people will injure our family, our elderly family. They've lived all this time. They haven't typically most of our family haven't had any major problems in them. And so we're kind of a little lackadaisy, if you will, when it comes to our aging parents, and our aging parents that live alone, because they've always taken care of us. And I think us as their children, they've always been strong for us. They've always been our biggest fighter. I think we forget as they age, they weaken, and they're not that superpower that they once were when we were growing up. And I think that it's hard for us as the children to acknowledge that our parents are aging. And I think it's hard for us, and we get a little complacent and we think everything is just hunky-dory until it's not. And by the time it's not, it's too late. The damage is done. There's nothing we can do to fix it. And I think that unnerves people. I know it certainly unnerves me. This whole case has been unnerving to me because of this fear factor. I mean, we have this beautiful woman. It doesn't matter. I know that my audience isn't that political where we're going to say, we're not covering this case, she deserved it because she's a Democrat or something. I mean, the stuff I read on X and other things, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. It just hurts my heart. When I saw all those things about, Charlie Kirk, it hurts my heart. And the reason why I'm bringing up Charlie Kirk, because my heart was hurt by the other side. And in this case, my heart's hurt because of my own side, and I've made my position known. I've definitely said a lot of stuff on X to people that said something disrespectful about this case. That's for sure, because that's my part. I will always stand up and do the right thing and say my part. And I think people are wrong. There was once upon a time when us here in America, we fought vehemently about our positions politically, but when push came to shove, when a neighbor needed help, we came together, we unified, because at the end of the day, humanity trumped anything and everything. And something happened to us. Something happened to us as a culture where we've just turned so nasty to one another, and we have no filter on how that hurts somebody else. And I see it, even making a post. I made a post like, everybody in this county is understanding our trash problem. And that video I showed yesterday, well, that was welcomed on my channel and a few other of the groups. But there was this one group, like I'm from effing Bradenton, which typically is a satire type of thing. But this wasn't a satire type of thing. We are dealing with a major crisis here of our garbage. And people don't realize how important your garbage is. Well, I mean, our garbage routine was just fine. Nobody had problems with the garbage routine. And now that they've scaled back our garbage and we only hit once a week, we're having a lot of effects by it, and a lot of disgusting effects. And in this one channel, I'm complaining, trying to get, because our citizens are suffering, because it's not just me, it's everybody. And this one particular group was just so nasty, calling me nasty, telling me I don't scratch. Like, there's nothing in my garbage can. I got 3 bags at the bottom. My garbage can's brand new. I very rarely use it. And they're basically calling me disgusting and saying that I somehow caused these things to crawl on for being disgusting. And I ended up removing the post from that, but it was just like, but I didn't remove it without saying something. I lived in this county for 46 years. I have never been treated so poorly by people. I don't think they're from here. I think they're just from other states, or may have lived here for a short time and just got part of that chat. I don't know. And maybe they don't know the situation, but I can tell you the people from Bradenton are not laughing about our garbage situation. And it just shows you despicable people all the time. And I'm getting so freaking tired of it. And I'm going to tell you guys, something's going to start happening in America. We're going to start going back to the olden days. Remember back in the day when we walked in and somebody was disrespectful, the person in front of the line turned around and smacked your child in the face? We're going to get back to that, and there's not going to be a damn thing that law enforcement is going to do to anybody. But it's going to start getting back to the point where if you're not going to rear your child, America's going to start doing it. Because we're sick and tired of all these people with these filthy mouths and filthy thoughts. And I got to tell you, when I hear some stuff going on, especially with the Nancy Guthrie case, still to this day, and hearing some of the posts for a grandmother that was literally ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night, it makes me want to go and shake the shit out of these people and ask them what the hell is wrong with you. I've got to be honest with you. It is so unnerving for me to see people act so despicably toward one another. And I can't for the life of me figure out why people do that. I really can't. Yes, that's what's happening. Once a garbage pickup, we can't choose who we want for a garbage company. And, that people can be so rude. They're miserable. But why are they so miserable? People should not be miserable. They should be happy. Once upon a time, we had a lot more happy people. And remember how we talk about Pima County and how, they have problems with the morale and the leadership? Well, think about it. Why did the people leave that law enforcement body? They left it because they weren't being treated very well. So if people aren't happy, it's because of the leadership. Maybe the reason why we have so many disgruntled people in our country that are being nasty is because they have nothing to look forward to. And why is that? Maybe it's because of our leadership. Maybe all of this is a product of everything we're living with and dealing with. Something to think about. It's something to think about. And not only that, but we're hearing that maybe somebody else has been home invaded and we still don't know who the hell did this to Nancy Guthrie. This is a little insane. And even if it's not from Pima County Sheriff's Department because the codes are different, it's from somebody near and by there. And that's pretty stinking scary. Because it seems like all these people are being hunted by something or someone or a group of somethings. It just seems unnerving. So let's get into what we are learning so far. Today, Anchor, let me get this situated on this panel. Sorry, I try to keep this where it's so you guys can read it. Today's co-anchor, Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy Guthrie, remains missing for more than 6 weeks. Now, this is, guys, we threw everything at this case. Everything at this case. Federally, locally, statewide, and she's been missing for 6 weeks. And I want that to resonate with you because, let's face it, we're no Guthrie family. If something like this happened to us, we wouldn't get this kind of search. I'm letting you guys know. We just wouldn't. So, we need to do something about our law enforcement because this is scary for all of us. Let's face it. We got almost 500 people in this chat at 7 o'clock in the morning. This case resonates with a lot of people. John, I find it freaking appalling that you're stealing somebody's last name as a fucking troll. Okay? You are part of the problem here on these social media streets. Get the fuck bent. And quit using this family's name, you sick bitch. Somebody get that piece of shit out of this chat.
Sneaky gremlins but they're not. Whack a troll, whack a troll. Let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick. Whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
Don't come into my chat disrespecting a family that has already lost so much by stealing their name and thinking you're being cute. Let me tell you something. You're a greasy, slimy piece of shit that doesn't even show their face. You're such a fucking coward. And what you're doing to this family is a hell of a lot worse than us keeping her name alive. So get bent, get the fuck out of here, and stay the hell away from the true crime community. You are a cancer. You're either Blank Screen or that piece of shit from Lee County. Either way, if you keep messing with me, you're going to have some serious problems. I'm done with you. I don't know who that was, but we will find out. We will find out. I think I'm going to end up, Blank Screen's going to have, because the way that this stuff is going, I've been harassed so much. I've been telling him to quit stalking me and quit stalking my people. He will not stop. I'm going to the FBI. I'm done. I'm done. I don't care what happens to you, motherfucker. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after your damn job. I'm done with you. And if I'm, and quite frankly, if it's white boy, let me tell you something, punk. You've already got one harassment against you. I will start coming after you. You're in my state, okay? And let me tell you something. People don't argue with me in my state. If you don't know, I do get things done here. So you can if you want to try, little boy. But I can tell you I'll be very successful. If you haven't seen, we decimated the hate channel so far. You want to keep fucking around? We'll keep going. Just saying. This stuff didn't just come out by accident where everybody's popping off and leaving this platform. Keep screwing around. Just saying. Everybody thinks things just organically happen. They don't. Let's get it real. So on Monday, March 6th, NBC News digital crime reporter Mike Ruiz took to X with a statement from the department as the search for Nancy continues. Ruiz wrote that PCSD spokesperson, which is Pima County Sheriff's Department, tells me the department has no information regarding today's report of possible home invasion broadcast over police scanner radio last night, whether it's connected to the Nancy Guthrie case, quoting the spokesperson as saying the codes are different than our department uses, which leads me to believe it's from a different agency. And all agencies still are fully functioning departments handling all calls coming in. But let me ask you guys by the show of ones and twos, wouldn't you guys agree that if there is a home invasion in the vicinity, that is an important case, right? Whether it's strictly in Pima County Sheriff's Department's jurisdiction or not, if it's within that general area, wouldn't you say that's significant? One, it's significant. Two, not so much. Go ahead and poll, folks. Go ahead and poll. We have 577 people in the chat right now, so go ahead and put your polls in there. Do you think that this is important if it's within the general area, whether it's in Pima County or not? You're talking about a freaking home invasion. We have a missing grandma that was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night. I mean, apples, oranges, maybe. But don't you think that Pima County should be well versed in this? Don't you think Pima County, when they hear that there's a potential home invasion, they pick up the phone and say, could this be linked to Nancy Guthrie? And they're just like, oh, well, the codes are different. You know, it's not from our county, so, you know, that's just like, okay. I can tell you from what I'm seeing, the majority of our audience says, yeah, another home invasion in the vicinity is a big deal, folks. It's a big deal. Of course it's a big deal. Aw, look at that, Heaven Sent. It's nice to see you. Perp wouldn't go back to the area again. I don't know. I think if the guy got away with it one time, he might be like, you know, some people like that thrill. I mean, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the people that do stuff like this like the thrill of not getting caught. They like the thrill of dangling the carrot in front of law enforcement. Look at BTK. Look how twisted his mind was. He wanted to start taunting them. I live next to the county of Pinal County. and I live alone. Oh my gosh, I bet you this is unnerving for you. Make sure if you haven't gotten the security, and you know what's the bad part about it is some of these areas, people can't afford to secure themselves, and that's so sad. I would be unnerved. I will be honest with you. If I lived in this area, well, thank God I don't. To be honest, I know that people that live in Arizona love Arizona, so I don't want you guys being like thinking I'm like rude or anything like that, which I can be. Don't mistake me. I am Bullhorn Betty. I can step on toes. I can be really rude. I'm really good at it. Okay. But in all honesty, I'm not saying this to be rude or be hurtful at all. It's just I'm a Florida girl. Okay. I was in Arizona for Charlie Kirk, the Charlie Kirk thing, and I'm not a fan of Arizona. I'm not a fan of the desert. I don't think it's Arizona. Thank you. I sent an email. Oh, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mouse. Let me read this. But I'm not a desert girl, okay? So it's a lifestyle for people that have a palate for the desert, that have a palate for the desolate. I'm not. Even, no matter where I went there, I was in Tucson, I was in Glendale. Isn't that where we had? I don't know much. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to say it, because I know it wasn't Scottsdale. I want to say it was Glendale. Hey, Southern Grammy. It's nice to see you. Pima County community needs to be outraged. I would be out, but that's the problem. Nobody is outraged. Like, they don't want everybody to go away. They don't want anybody telling them how wrong their county is. Like, they're ostriches. They would rather not know. Like, I'm just the opposite. Like, don't leave me in the dark. I don't care how bad it is. I want the truth. I want the truth. I want the truth, And these people, they don't. They don't. They want to live in their bubble. They don't care. They just rather think that they're safe, not have the confidence in knowing that they are. It was just, it was Thank you. Yeah, Glendale. And I can tell you that, there's some nice, it's just not my cup of tea. And by the time I got to Tucson with all of that, it's like tumbleweed area. I'm like, I even told Sweet Misery lives out there, and I got to meet her face to face. I love when I get to meet you guys. But I've known Sweet Misery on here for several years, and she's been dying because she wanted me to go out there to cover the that crazy lady, the Doomsday Mom, and I just didn't have a time to. But I knew that the Charlie Kirk thing was like a once in a lifetime thing. Being a front row Joe, we had to be there, and luckily we did. We got as close as you could possibly get, and we were in a sea of 100,000 people. That was the most insane event that I've ever had to deal with. I was worried my car was going to be towed. I was worried. Sometimes you just got to wing it and just give a Hail Mary and just do it, and then just deal with the consequences later. And that was one of the things that we did, and we were praying and praying and praying that they wouldn't, and we were lucky. None of our vehicles got towed. We didn't have any problems, but I got to tell you, there was times when I thought I was going to pass out. Like, everybody was just they were just stuck to each other like glue. They wanted to push in. They weren't opening the gate. I thought I was going to pass out. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. But we did get in, and, I wasn't that area was okay, but still not a fan of the area. I'm just not an Arizona person. And it's not even an Arizona person. I know exactly I'm just not a desert person. So I know the people that live out here love this landscape and, the culture and everything like that. But it's going to be hard to turn a Florida person into a desert person. It really is. It's a hard stretch. It really is. So anyways, it's not that the area doesn't have its own beauty. It's just that it's not my cup of tea. So, and then to hear all these problems that Arizona's having, it's sad. They need lights out there. Please, guys, I know you love the wildlife. Do yourself a favor. Start investing in some lighting out there. I mean, we saw all those creepers. This is the Wild West. I'm in Cali. Yeah, I'm not liking it. Okay, I'm not liking it. And the more I see the wildlife, the more I realize you guys got the rattlesnakes, and you can't walk at night. I mean, you might get get clobbered by an animal or a snake. Not my cup of tea. Every time I hear more and more about Arizona, I'm like, yeah, I think I like Florida a little bit. So we have a situation where, again, might be a home invasion, very scary stuff here, and Pima County just kind of not really addressing this major animal in the room, and it's a little scary. So they keep like pushing this stuff off. Oh, well, it's not our code, so it's not from our department, but it's a home invasion near your department. Are you not curious to find out what's going on? So Vasquez elaborates on X. I've heard some police scanner audio going around from last night that people believe a break-in near or even on the same street as the Guthrie home. The scanner traffic is TPD. Both homes are outside of their jurisdiction, and they would not respond to that call. So we have a home invasion that they're saying basically Tucson Police Department said it's outside of their jurisdiction, and they're not even responding to this call. That is insane. So we have now a home invasion that appears that nobody's responding to. I'm sure the other department's responding to, but I would think a home invasion so close to Miss Nancy Guthrie, whether it's in her community or not, if it's within 20 or 50 miles of her home, it would be something I would say, yeah, maybe it's something we should be looking at. He continued, second, some say the dispatchers say Guthrie, that the name comes up when they discuss the registered owner of a 1999 Accord. I don't believe the Guthrie family would have that car. Also, they would have Guthrie rather than Guthries when saying the RO's name. So I've heard the police scanner going around from last night. It's on the that same street. There's his post. Meanwhile, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI continue to search for Nancy after she was last seen in her Catalina Foothill home on January 31st. No suspects have been named as of this writing. Okay. Savannah Guthrie's mom, live updates, false accusation, rocks families. We were hearing this. So this kind of comes into a different direction than what we were originally, saddled with at the beginning. So at the beginning of this case, Larry said, did JLR go home? From my understanding, the answer is yes. Media is gone. That was going to be the show for this morning, but then I found out about this this home invasion call that came in last night, and I knew that you guys would have wanted to. I don't know how crazy his trip was, because airports are a nightmare right now. I think he probably should have left days ago before it got worse, because people have been quitting their job at the airport. So I got to think that I, at least assume that it was probably pretty miserable for a flight for anybody in the United States here recently. So, it is what it is. Brian E is at home. Yeah, media's gone. The media's gone. Everything out there in front of Nancy Guthrie's house, the media's gone. There's no more media at all. Stalkers now, shaking my head. I saw that one lady trying to find his mom and dad. These people are freaking crazy. Like, lady, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have that problem right now. Maybe, when we start getting back out there, maybe we will start having, but they're from the area. So it's a little easier for them, but it costs real. People don't understand how extremely expensive it is to live on the road. It is ridiculous. You've got nothing, right? You've got to use, if you stay there longer, you've got to use, laundromats to do your laundry. You've got to, I mean, the hotels are freaking outrageous. The car rentals are outrageous. The flying is outrageous. Everything is outrageous. Now we have this war going on in Iran, and gas prices are through the roof. And so, I mean, everything right now is outrageous. And so even when things were a little more economical, it was still very, very costly. It cost us, for example, to stay 1 week in Idaho to cover that case. It cost us, that trip was about $10,000. And I went with Chronicles of Olivia, and her and I were able to split that $10,000, and it cost us about $5,000 a piece for our Idaho trip. And that was for, I think it was $10,000. I think it was $5,000 per trip. And it was $5,000 a week per trip. And we did 2 trips. I think it was 10,000. I don't think we dropped 10,000. I don't think it was a $20,000 story. I think it was a $10,000 story. I think it was 5,000 each trip. That's a lot of money. Okay. For a week, for 2 people, it's a lot of money. It might've been 5,000 per trip. Might've been 10,000 per trip. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at it. I hope I didn't spend $20,000 on that trip. Anyways, or 10,000, whatever it was, because we split it. But I can't remember. It's very costly. And that's when things were economical. Like even just when I was pricing to get out to Arizona, like week before the TSA dropped and everything, I priced it out. I think my flight was going to be like $1,200. Just to get to Arizona, $1,200. And then you're not even talking about room and board. You're not talking about food. You're not talking about gas. You're not talking about vehicle rental. It's just very, very, very costly. And so that's why I know he stayed out. He tried to stay out there as long as he could because it's a lot cheaper to stay out there for an additional week or 2 than it is to fly home and have to fly back out there for a breaking news case. It's very, very costly. So I understand why he tried to wait it out. But you can only, like even him, he's very clever with how to construct stories and make people still tune in even when there's nothing there. But when you're there by yourself and you've got no more media, it really does wear on you, trying to think outside of the box, all of that stuff. Believe it or not, those things come with being around people. And, things that pop in your head from being around people, talking to people and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I feel bad for Nancy's family. I feel bad for the case because it really was media keeping this case alive. But we have to look back on this case. First of all, her family, I try to be respectful. But you have a missing grandmother and not one of you son of a bitches got off your ass and went out and looked for her. Not one. And I'm going to say it just like that. Because I saw Mark the Shark out there and I saw Tommaso yelling at him for being out in front of his house. And I'm going to tell you, just like I tell everybody else, you do not own those streets. But the whole world was looking for Nancy Guthrie while the family stopped communicating. They stopped informing. They stopped moving the needle. They stopped trying to get answers. They stopped partnering with social media or mainstream media. As a matter of fact, Savannah's own company, NBC, ended up being basically the spokesperson for all of the information. So it ended up being a profitable venture for NBC because they were the only ones being spoken to by Pima County Sheriff. Meanwhile, Savannah, Cameron, nor Annie or Tommaso has ever spoken about this case. They haven't been trying to get in front of the camera or keeping us attuned. This is their family. This is their family. And I don't say negative things about people, but come on. They've thrown money at the problem, but what else have they done? They've done nothing. They've done nothing. And we've been out here trying to fight. We've been out here searching. They haven't even put together a search party. This is her own family that have a lot of money. They've done absolutely squat. And then we have the neighbors beating everybody up out there just for trying to get answers for Nancy. If Nancy's case goes cold, I guess, blame can be had. But it can't be had with social media or mainstream media because, let's face it, we gave them a lot of time. We've done a lot of stuff for this family to help them in this case, and they've they didn't participate. And so now the case is going to die down. Are they going to get answers? I don't know. But I can tell you, I believe in prayers, but prayers don't put people out in the field looking for a mom. Only bodies do that. And so it's very upsetting to see this case be handled the way it is. It's very upsetting to see this family that has a lot of resources not use them. But let's be honest, if we were to speak about the elephant in the room, where the hell's the family? And where the hell has the family been this entire time that we've been fighting for Nancy Guthrie? So has the media gone away? Yeah. Why? Because the community didn't want the media there. The family didn't want the media there. And Pima County Sheriff didn't want the media there. So you know what? When this case goes cold, we can say that we tried. But not for the family, the neighbors, and the sheriff. We might have been able to make a dent in this case. But votes matter. And so do your neighbors, right? If I go missing, I want my neighbors to open their homes, be frustrated. I do that for them and their families. Deal with it. Deal with it. Because I can tell you, if somebody on my street disappeared, I would deal with it. I would deal with it. I would be kind about it. I would be supportive about it. And I hope people around this country start waking up, because when these cases die down, there's no more resources being pumped into them. When they are front page news, there's a lot of resources being pumped into them. So it seems like the family gave up on Nancy Guthrie before the public did. And that's the reality of the situation. I'm not trying to be rude to the family, but I'm not going to lie to my audience either. Oh, come on. All right. So what do we got here? This is the case is now entering its 7th week. The FBI reportedly recovered additional images from cameras at the Nancy Guthrie, Arizona home, but none captured footage from the night of her puzzling abduction. So this is kind of where it gets a little frustrating, because we know that Google does have some residual data. We know that this is kind of an eggshell approach. They don't want the public to be up in arms about privacy, but we also have a crime that we have to solve, and there are tools in our toolbox that we have in this country. And at the end of the day, we have civil laws here that require, certain businesses like internet service providers, search engines, VPNs, other social media or other technology. You're required, if you're doing business in the United States, you're required to maintain records. Okay? That is the requirement for you to do business in the United States of America. There is a reason why they made TikTok divest, okay? Because we have certain requirements that must be handled when you do business in the United States. That's what makes us be able to sue anybody and everybody, because people are required to maintain records. Those are discoverable, okay? That means that you can get a subpoena, a warrant, or whatever, and discover the information. Now, there are certain people, like lay people like me and lay people like you, that would never be able to get certain records in this country, or be able to know about certain records in this country, because they are classified or not for the general public. But whenever you go to certain like federal judges, you can actually force these companies under seal to produce information. And that means that the information that they're producing, although is technically discovery, it's under seal, because it's discovery that we are not entitled to see. It doesn't mean it's not there. So your VPN services, your stuff there, that's all being recorded, and that's all being stored. However, we cannot get that. But the further up the food chain you go, they can get that. because they have the ability to get that. They have the required credentials and ability, and the judges that have the right qualifications to be able to rule over those matters, to force a company to turn over sensitive documentation. And so while people in this country feel safe to do things, this is why a lot of pedophiles are being yanked up through stuff that they're doing over the internet, because your stuff is not safe. We have backdoors everywhere. Nothing comes into this country digitally without our government knowing about it. Whether we know about it or not, it's all recorded. Everything we do online is recorded somewhere. That's why they say you can never undo what you put online, because it's all recorded. That's where we're getting all these stilled images, because they're in a residual file that's they record everything. So we know we have it captured somewhere, but it's not categorized as nicely as all this stuff that we have here that's properly categorized. So they have to search for this stuff back there with millions and billions of bits of information, trying to find and crawl through this to find the information. So that's why it's a little by slow, and why this is coming in here now. This came in before, and it really does, having a knowledge of that IP address for that specific camera, because that can help track down this web of information and get you to potentially an image or potentially a video. And that's my understanding. But everything is recorded in the United States that goes through our internet. Everything. And if something were to happen and say one of our, we woke up and the internet was gone and they have to rebuild our entire internet infrastructure, you guys are saying this is crazy, and I do believe it is, but we've prepared for that as a country. Okay? I seen a billboard with Nancy lit up. I was shocked. Aw. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that they are still putting her name out there, but that's not enough. The family needs to be out there. The family needs to be keeping us energized, because unless they absolutely know who did this, and maybe they do, and maybe that's why everybody's like, we're not talking about this anymore. We know who did this. We just need to start building a case. That might need to be where we're at in this case, but it doesn't sound like that to me. It really doesn't. It sounds like they may have a potential motive. They still don't even have a suspect. So I think the public involvement is going to still be very, very important, but they're going to lose that. I mean, it's gone. Are we going to talk about this case? Guys, we're 2 weeks from another breaking case, and this being a distant memory. We've been doing this stuff for a really long time. Look at all of our major cases that we tried our hardest. Look at Summer Wells. We talked about that case every single day for years. At some point, it's just one story away from being a distant memory. Hardly anybody talks about Summer Wells anymore. She's still missing. Look at Sebastian Rogers. We were really hot to trot on Sebastian Rogers. Yeah, there's still a lot of people out there, keeping his memory and his case alive. But for the majority, they were just it was one case away, one breaking case away of starting to collect dust. And that's where we are now with the Sebastian Rogers case, and no answers. So this is where we're going to be with this Nancy Guthrie case, guys. I mean, they didn't get their guy in the first 48. How long is it going to take to solve this one? I don't know. I can say probably more than a year. 75 years, they're available to the public. The family is hiding, in my opinion, doesn't want to even talk to media because they don't want to answer tough questions. And that's a problem. I mean, in any other case, wouldn't that be a red flag for us? Wouldn't that be a problem for us? I mean, I'm not saying that this family done anything wrong. I'm going to still say that 100% of the time when officers, law enforcement has told us that somebody has been cleared from a case, they have been cleared. In our experience on this show and in the years that we've been in business, 100% of the time people have been cleared. They truly were cleared. They were never re-looked at as a suspect, and they were never prosecuted as one. And the cases that I'm referring to did have somebody eventually arrested in them. So I don't want to start saying that because they're, that we're going to go look at them. I'm just saying that there might be a lot more here that the family has not been telling us. We feel like this is personal. And even though the siblings and their spouses may not have had anything to do with it, it still doesn't eliminate everybody else in their family. So is there a family squabble that nobody's wanting to the family is devastated, and I understand that. I mean, we would all be devastated, but look at Seth. He was devastated, but he still kept his son's name out there. We don't even have Savannah going on and keeping us engaged with this case anymore. She's done 3 or 4 videos. She's one of the most recognized people in America. Her mother is missing, and she won't go on camera? She won't keep people engaged in her own mother's disappearance? She wants everything and everyone to quit talking about it? I mean, at what point do we keep talking about it? I mean, we're getting our cues from the family. It's just a sad situation. I don't want to beat the family up. I think they should be doing more. I feel bad for the family. We're praying for the family. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. Okay? This is not let's beat up the Guthrie family. They're going through a lot. I understand that. But this is like, we're 7 weeks in. Where's the damn family? Okay? That's it, that part. You see what I'm saying? That part. That part where it's time to either, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and realize that we're here to help, but you're kind of on your own, boo. If you're still waiting for law enforcement to solve it, we're going to be waiting into perpetuity. We still don't have this woman. We still don't have grandma. Okay? And right now, from where I'm standing, I'm not seeing law enforcement out there searching for grandma. Okay? So where does the family think that we're going to find Nancy if law enforcement's not searching for them? The family's not, or law enforcement's not searching for her. The family's not searching for her. And they just ran off all the searchers, private searchers that would have helped. She does look sad. My heart breaks for the family. But listen, just because I can be sympathetic and empathetic to what the family's going through and still speak realistically, because let's face it, she's not porcelain. We have a lot of families that have walked through the same path that she's having to walk through, and they didn't hide the whole family away and push the media out. The only people that have done that are people like Don Wells and Candace Bly and, the Proudfoots. We don't want them being being in the same category as the Summer Wells case and the Sebastian Rogers case, not in the respect of how the family's behaving. That would be detrimental. And again, it's not that I'm saying that they are. I'm saying they don't want that appearance. And that I can already see the change of tides because, listen, a lot of people are still asphyxiated on Tommaso. Okay, you got to understand this. So I'm speaking frank. I'm not speaking that I believe this. I'm just speaking what the general audience is, what their perspective is. And some of those things I do agree with in part. But you have a situation here where nobody's really helping. I don't know what they need to help solve this case. What I do know is I would assume bringing Nancy home still has to be a priority. And if bringing Nancy home is a priority, why is law enforcement pushing away private searchers? Why is the family not paying for other types of searchers if they don't want private free searchers? And why is law enforcement not out there in the desert searching for Miss Nancy Guthrie? You see what I'm saying? Like we're never going to find Nancy, like physically find Nancy, if nobody's searching physically for Nancy. And, I'm not very confident in this whole, now we're going to the investigative side, like Sheriff Struggle said, and we never saw him again. Now I feel like, they're going to the investigative side in Pima County, and now we're never going to see anybody again. So is this case going to go cold? The answer for me is yes, this will go cold. This will go cold if they don't already have their suspect. That's my opinion. Because I feel like this is on track to be cold just by those elements. And again, I'm not saying this stuff about the family to beat them up. I'm just bringing awareness to the facts, because people are, why are the media leaving? Why would they stay? I think that the whole entire world needs to ask themselves, why would media stay? Usually when media is out there, it's because of, one, the audience, but two, because there's questions and they're but the Pima County immediately let the media know, we don't want you here, right? They closed off the area. They made sure it was next to impossible to run coverage on the case by that. So they pushed everybody out. They didn't want any more focus on this case. And to me, it sounded like the family agreed with that. Okay, there's signs in front of their house basically telling everybody to go home. And granted, the neighbors did that. And I just want to say, neighbors, you guys don't understand what you did because of your need to feel to not have this go on. You probably made this case where it's not going to be solvable. And that's a direct result of the neighbors that wanted the media to leave. So whichever neighbors out there, you're part of the problem in America, not part of the solution. I don't care how good your heart is or how whatever, and you're going to be, Betty, you're being mean. I don't care. Media helps solve cases, period. And when you throw the media out, you're basically saying, we don't want this case solved. We want to stick our head in the sand and be ostriches, okay? People out here in the world don't like communities like that because you know what? You guys are living in your own bubble. You're trying to hide the fact that you guys are making yourself unsafe, and you don't want people telling you that because of your stupid policies that got this woman killed. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that your policies, your community, and the rules that you guys have got this woman killed. And you're so angry at everybody putting a big old spotlight on that. And I understand that has to be uncomfortable, but at some point, somebody's going to have to pull their head out of their butts and say, listen, we need to start listening to this constructive criticism and realizing we're putting ourselves and our community in danger, and we need to make changes. But so far, everybody just wants to hide the fact that they need to make changes, that their policies failed and got a woman killed. But it's Savannah. She was targeted. She's famous. There's a lot of famous people out there. I'm just saying. There's a lot of famous people out there. And there's a lot of famous people out there that have a hell of a lot more money than Savannah Guthrie. They're not being targeted. Why? Maybe because they didn't have a targetable target because the community is so lackadaisy on their policing. You guys are living out there in pitch black. Pitch black. In this society. In a 2026 where people don't care about you, they care about your stuff. That's insanity. That's not being smart. And anybody out there that has gone to college, if you guys can't make this connection, it's time for you to go back and get a different kind of college. I'm sorry, just my opinion as probably I'm trying to be nice about it. I promise you I am. You do not want to know how I'd like to say this stuff, okay? If I were to say what I'm thinking and it came out of my mouth, you guys would absolutely say I am rude. I am rude. Because it would say, yo dumb, what the hell is going on with you? Let me slap some sense into you. You... Okay, so I am being kind of nice. I am dancing around it, and I'm trying to do it with a smile on my face so it doesn't make you guys too upset with me, especially the ones that live in this area. But you guys are putting yourself in danger. I don't know how to convey that to you, but it seems like you guys should have known you put yourself in danger. But I digress. Whether you did or didn't, things have got to change in this area, and I hope you guys work to get them changed because I don't want to cover another case of a grandma being ripped out of her home in the middle of the night by a masked gunman, okay? This is not cases we like to cover. We don't like cover. I can honestly tell you, I'd rather cover yarn. Okay? I'm not a yarner, but if I could stop covering true crime, if crime just went away and we woke up tomorrow and we are living in a new world where everybody just respects everybody and leaves everybody else's crap alone and doesn't, try to be violent to people and doesn't, create chaos and stuff like that. We woke up tomorrow and we were in an environment like that, we would all be so happy, but that's not the reality of where we live or how our country works. We're yelled at today. Already today? It's not even, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. You mean yesterday? I think you meant yesterday. Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. Nobody should be yelled at. But you know what? They seem like nice guys, and I'm usually nice, but when somebody starts getting shitty with me, I treat them exactly how they treat me. And people are like, oh, you're so rude. Well, how do you think you treated me coming up here? You don't know me, boo. And like, how dare you? And I just want to say this for everybody. Don't go up and get in people's faces and start yelling. You don't know who you're getting. People kind of have like loose screws and stuff like that. You can't do that to people. Okay? When you start encroaching in their space and you get hurt, don't cry to your mommy or to a law enforcement agent. You did that to yourself. Okay? Mind your own damn business. If you don't like it, remove yourself from it. If it's illegal, call law enforcement, let them deal with it. If it's not illegal, then it's a you problem, not a them problem. Just saying. Okay? Get it right. Don't get it twisted. So getting over here, still, where are we with this whole home invasion? I will tell you something. We still have no answers related to the recording of this home invasion yesterday. Did it happen? Who was it? Did they catch the people? What is going on with this home invasion that happened yesterday? Was it miscalled over the air? Should it have never been called that? Was it something else? And why is nobody stepping up to the plate to tell us that this is a nothing burger, right? Law enforcement, their comments are, well, it's different codes, so it's not from Pima County Sheriff, so it's not in our jurisdiction. But it's within your area. Wouldn't the criminal be working in an area? If it's close to Pima County, you don't think you should look into it? Not at all. Not at all. Betty, there's a huge cover-up happening in this case. If it wasn't for media, we would know nothing, in my opinion. Pamela, you might be right, because I'm laying out everything. I want to be very respectful for the family, but sometimes you have to be firm. It's not to be disrespectful to the family. It's to be firm, like, where's the family? We've been out here for 7 weeks doing this. We watched them talk to this phantom, ransom person. We've heard her say thank you to all the people that have been praying for her. But we've seen no searches. We've seen no we've seen billboards. We've seen no signs. We've seen nobody going out there. No independent private investigators working on behalf of the Guthrie family investigating this case. We're not seeing any Guthrie family searches set up with their friends or family that want to go out and look for their mother. We're not seeing that. Savannah's already went back home. Her brother's already gone back home. Annie and Tommaso are screaming at people that are driving up and down their road. I mean, this is really starting to feel like they don't, I don't want to be too disrespectful. So it's just not making a lot of people feel very comfortable about this. Where is the family? I think that's going to be the biggest statement everybody has at this point. Where's the family? And what are they planning on doing to keep their mother alive? The story alive, or are they just giving up on it and going to let it go cold? Or do they know more and just not telling us? Is the reason why Savannah went home is because she knows it's her cousin from her aunt, that's been twice removed, and she's a drug addict, and she needed some money, and she went over there and did this to her mother and covered it up. Is it going to be something like that? And everybody knows this deep, dark secret, this deep, dark family secret, and that's why they just wanted to hush hush and go away, because it's going to be a family member. What are we looking at here when it comes to the Guthrie case? I'm really not sure. I feel bad for the family. I don't want to take away, but I know that there's been a lot of, because I've felt several emails of frustration related to this case. And, even though I did take them kind of a little jaded when I read them and didn't come forward with them earlier, but at the end of the day, now we're kind of full circle in this, and I'm kind of starting to see their complaints. And these were complaints that I was hearing, weeks ago that I didn't talk about. And it was like, where's the family? Why isn't the family doing this? And why isn't the family doing that? And we kind of look past that, And at this point, now that we're almost 7 weeks into this case, it's like, okay, well, the family's had time to get their shit together. They've had time to kind of process what's going on. I'm sure this was fairly shocking. But now, we expect the family, now that they've had time and we've given them time to process everything, it's time to start guiding. Do you still need help? Do you want people to search for your mother? Are we done? Should we just all stop talking about it, close up shop, and let this case die? Where are we? Where do we go from here? I'm not... Over the years of doing this, we used to have a lot more fight in us. We used to, because in many cases, it was the parents. We're never going to have parents that kill their children help us try to find the killer of their children, right? So we've got those types of situations. So we've always been, accustomed to working without the family's cooperation, because typically in many of our cases, we're looking directly at the family. In this case, we're not. The sheriff, and some of us are, but the sheriff cleared the family and all their spouses. So, we've talked about them in generality, but we've kind of removed Tommaso down to the bottom of the list and starting to look at all the other possibilities that are out there when it comes to who could have done this. And it just seems like my problem is it feels like the family has given up. And if we feel like the family has given up, what's the point in us continuing to fight? Before we had the family wanted us to give up. So it was like, to keep the pressure on was the name of the game, because the parents that wanted to give up were the prime suspects in the crime. So naturally, but this is a case where they're not deemed as suspects, and they've given up. So, we don't, us fighting the family is us fighting innocent family members that just want us to go away. So what do we do from this point forward? Do we still talk about the case? Do we still cover the case? Or do we, respect the family and law enforcement's wishes and just shut up about the case? And if it goes cold, it goes cold. It's not our problem. We've done everything that we should have done for the case. I mean, what do we do? I'm not saying that's what we're doing. I'm asking the audience. So don't misunderstand what we're doing here. I'm asking the audience, what do we do? Do we keep going? Or do we close up shop when it comes to this case? Give me your answers. 3, we keep going. 4, we close up shop. We've got almost 1,000 people in chat. This should be very easy for you guys to answer with 1,000 people. What do we do? And I guess you'd have to ask yourself, is the family legitimately trying to get us out? The residents of the area were nuts, in my opinion. Fighting cause the press dared to settle in the street. They were tragedy struck. Those people out there, like I said, they would not have wanted me to be there, because I would be the first ones to. So you got to understand, I will talk to you exactly how you talk to me. You come up to me and want to talk to me normally and express some grievances, I'm good. You want to come up and point your finger and be rude to me, you do not want to see my reaction to you, because the first thing is you're going to move that finger right out of my face, or I'm going to break your finger. Okay? I'm a much different person when I'm out there, because I'm a single female. I have to protect myself, and I just don't play with people. Okay, I'm much different when I'm behind the screen as I am in person. I'm a nice person, but you don't come up screaming to some stranger. You might not get the reaction you're hoping for. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Be careful. Why ask for if they're and not only that, but those people out there in that community, they do not own that road. They do not own that community. I'm sorry, they just don't. And law enforcement should have told them that. But if law enforcement wouldn't have told them that, I'd have been sure to tell them that. And I would have also been willing to file suit, right? I would have been willing to challenge the no parking ordinance, lawfully and legally. Now, it would have taken some time to get through the court case, but we would have, we could have done it on an emergency basis. But I would have been willing to file suit against the sheriff's office. And I think that we had enough media out there that a big pocket media that could have filed suit, that could have done more for the media for newsworthiness, but they didn't want to rock the boat. And I'm just tired of people not wanting to rock the boat. I'm ready to rock the boat in America. Okay? These people work for us. I'm getting sick and tired of being pushed around by politicians that think they know better for me and what I need to know when they do not. And I'm sick of pussycat media. I mean, we don't have pussycat media when it comes to News Nation, but why did they not push back? And when they did push back, they were 86 from interviews with Chris Nanos. Well, you know what? Then Chris Nanos needs to lose his job. And we are all working to make sure that what Chris Nanos did in the Nancy Guthrie case, he'll never be able to do to another family again. So we are going to work, and I can guarantee you that social media and mainstream media have partnered to make sure Chris Nanos is never sheriff in this country again. And I am absolutely confident Chris Nanos will never be a sheriff in this country again. And if the people in Arizona keep wanting to do this when it comes your child or your grandmother, guess what's going to happen? We're going to shut up, and we're going to let you deal with your voting record. Okay? We don't like doing that, but you've already had one bite at the apple to get it right. Do you think we're going to go back into Hawkins County? No, because they should have fired their sheriff. What is his name? Ronnie Lawson. They've had 5 years to fire this corrupted sheriff in their community. And they refuse to, all the while still screaming, oh, we don't understand why Summer Wells' case isn't solved. Okay? I can't deal with that type of stupidity. Okay? People out there are very nice, but there's a lot of stupid people out there too. And if they're not willing to fire their sheriff, what am I going to be able to do to help them? If they're not willing to help themselves, okay? And that's the way I feel with some of the people out here in Arizona. You guys got to be willing to help yourselves. I mean, there's a lot of people out here that live in other places, and we're saying you guys are putting yourself in danger with these stupid policies. And you can beat us up and say, we don't know what we're talking about. But listen, I don't have a grandma being ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman in my community. So you can say a lot about me. You can say a lot about what I say. But you know what? We have our problems, but we don't have these problems. And why? Well, because one, we have a sheriff that knows how to get a plane up in the air. We know how for our policing, we know how to turn lights on during an investigation. Okay, we're not going to let some wildlife or a University of Arizona stop us from doing a proper investigation when somebody disappears. Okay, that's something I can say that we will not do. So I hate to tell you, these are everything that your sheriff chose to do that put this woman even in further jeopardy. Okay, so if you guys still want to vote for that piece of garbage back into office and you get services like that, well, you knew better. Okay? And if you do this again and something happens to one of your people there, you're not going to have mainstream media to fall back on. I'm just saying. You guys have to start helping yourself a little bit because we brought, media in for this case. I don't think anybody else in Pima County is going to get the Nancy Guthrie, services. I'm just saying. She was very fortunate. I don't think you have her fortune. I'm just saying. You might want to think clearly. NBC has the attention and the money to help solve this. And quite frankly, they're the only ones that Pima County, I find that quite interesting that Savannah's station is the only one that now has a working relationship with the sheriff and is the only one receiving information from the sheriff. I find that appalling. I find that sick. And you know what? I think that if this continues, that these tables will turn and people are going to start attacking the family, because they're not doing anything. So just a little food for thought. I'm not saying that those are my sentiments. I'm just saying that we've seen this, and you guys know I'm right, because we've seen this play out before. And what ends up happening? We're all for the family, and then the family goes away, and they're not talking, and they're not doing the things that we think. And then everybody starts saying, "Oh, that's really red flaggy. Oh, that's suspicious. It has to be them. Let's go back down this trail. Let's start calling them murderers again. Let's start going to their social media." I don't do that crap. So nobody can sit there and say this is me. I'm just saying we know how this plays out. We've seen it play out many times. How many believe me? I mean, this is what's going to end up happening. Who believes that if the family stays quiet too much longer, they're going to start getting attacked? They're going to start getting attacked more than they've ever been attacked before with Tommaso, because it just seems like they don't care. I'm not saying they don't care. I know that emotions get the best of them. I'm not saying these things. This is what the perception is going to be on the streets. Oh, thank you. I'm amazed at the sheriff and his attitude. I know. Trust me, it's pretty shocking for many of us, too. I've got to be honest with you. It's shocking. I've only seen this come from two other sheriffs, and that is Ronnie Lawson and Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. And they're in Tennessee. Both of those sheriffs are in Tennessee. I've had no real experience in Arizona. I mean, we covered briefly the Doomsday Mom and the murders out there from the Doomsday Mom, but I've never been to Arizona. I haven't really covered a case in Arizona. And then Charlie Kirk, was assassinated, so I went out there for the event in Glensdale, and then that was my only time I've been out in Arizona, and this would have been the second time I would have gone. In all honesty, if things weren't so wacky for me when the case broke, I would have been out there. I would have just went out there and stayed out there. Even if I had to rent a room, an hour away just to make the budget, just to get it affordable, I would have done it. But when I was able to finally pull the trigger to go out there, the case had already settled down, and I started, having to weigh the options, because it's real money to go out here, right? And we got to make sure if we're spending the money, that money is put back into the coffers. I can't spend a single dime without putting that money back in. So, and we got to find ways to do that. And so I knew I would probably be able to do it even at that time. But to me, I lost the window of capturing the audience that was needed to run the story. And that's what we have to always look at. This stuff is expensive. That's why, not everybody does it. I mean, we're competing with CNN, Fox News, and everybody else. They've got freaking deep pockets. They can send, 15 people in 15 different directions, first class, okay? We don't have that type of budget here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So we do what we can when we can do it. And hopefully one day we will be able to get out there. But keep vigilant. If you guys are in this Arizona area, I'm sorry that I've said some things that might, maybe some of the stuff you might agree with, and maybe some of the stuff you might think I'm a little too firm with. And I apologize if you thought I was being a little too firm. But I really hope that you guys stay safe out there. At the end of the day, whether I agree with some of the decisions you make or not, I care about you. I care about all citizens and all people's health and well-being. I don't want to cover you on my show. But I just want you to be safer. And sometimes tough love is the best love. And right now I see an area that has made terrible decisions. And this is not just leadership. This is decisions that community bought into. And these decisions that community bought into is putting them in danger. And we're just trying to make sure you guys understand the danger you have put yourself in, and try to beg you to correct the action, because we don't want to see this happen to some other citizen. And quite frankly, this entire show is about this possibly happening to already another citizen, because there was a home invasion report called in last night. Okay? And we have no information about it. And everybody's passing the buck, and nobody's wanting to answer us with what happened. Where was the home invasion? Was it truly a home invasion? And is it connected to Nancy Guthrie's case? Nobody will give us an answer. So it could have already happened to another person. And the biggest thing of all for the people that are in this area, if you're watching my show and you're here and you're listening to my voice right now, please, 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 please get you some lights. Please. You cannot allow this to happen again. And again, I love animals. I love wildlife. I want to be a part of, positivity for the environment. I get that. Okay. But not at the risk of my person. Okay. Not at the risk of me losing my life. I am not going to worry about some stupid wildlife animals if it comes down to me losing my life to care for them. Okay? And I think that it's time for you to decide for yourself whether you are more important than wildlife and darkness. Because I think if you reach into side of yourselves, you'll realize that you're worth something and your life matters. And you should protect that as much as you protect that wildlife. And there's a way to coexist with wildlife and to keep yourselves safe. And I hope you guys strike the happy balance there in Pima County, Arizona. But the way you guys are living right now, even though you've lived like this for many years, our times have changed. And people prey on sitting ducks. You've turned yourselves into sitting ducks. Don't be a sitting duck. That's my message to Pima County, Arizona. All right, guys, thank you for letting me bend your ear. I appreciate each and every one of you that came and chose to listen to the Bullhorn Betty channel. I know there's a lot of places that you can go. There's a lot of content creators that you see. And while we're building up our evening show, we are building a crusade in the morning that are crime fighters and people that really want some information about Nancy Guthrie's case and other criminal cases. So we're very thankful that each of you guys come here to see us. I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. God bless each and every one of you. I've got meetings I've got to be at the rest of the day. I will try to do a live at noon, and I'm doing the live at noon on this channel, not on our other channel, because there's plenty of time between now and noon, and that'll be my lunch break for my county meeting. But I will be here most of the day, but I am doing a county meeting virtually today. So, and I made the decision because it's too damn cold for me to go out. I'm tired of the cold. And quite frankly, I love the comfort of my home, and I can scream at my politicians from here today. On Thursday, I've forced myself to go in on Thursday. So Thursday, we'll have another 6 a.m. show. I hope you guys are all here. But throughout the week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have about 3 to 4 shows a day. So please tune in on both of the channels. We never know where we're going to be or where we're going to pop up. I hope you guys have a great day. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, kind to one another. God bless.